So one day we just got a letter through the letterbox saying that you have 24 hours to leave the country, which was kind of shocking. I was mad young, but I do remember like my mum just carrying all of us running up and down. But them times it was mad. You'd go to the Nigerian family or the Nigerian spokesperson who had some kind of weight or who had more knowledge of what to do. And my mum had only been there for like 2, 3 years then. So like we went up, and then after we met my godfather and he helped, and something happened and he put her in touch with a good solicitor. And then yeah man, we managed to stay in the country, and yeah, it was a relief to everyone. But yeah, it was very scary. 'Cause I can remember my mum trying to explain it to me like, yo, we could be in Nigeria tomorrow. You know what I mean? There's no English pounds anymore. After that, there's no burger, there's no chips. It was a different place then. Like Nigeria, it was highly volatile. I think that was just under or before Babangida's rule. So it was a highly volatile place. Probably more calm than it is now, but yeah. But she wanted to provide a better life for her kids. We managed, by God's grace, we managed to stay in the country. Yeah, man, and that brings me up to about the age of 7, I believe.
So at that time, were you aware of the difference in like wealth distribution, as in how other people are living compared to how you're living?
You know how I knew what the difference was in wealth? Like, we were poor. Don't get twisted, but my mum just grafted. Like, she's just like any other Nigerian or African mother. Do you understand? Like, she grafted like a real strong African woman always does. So I love the woman, man. That's why I always try and give her everything. But like, yeah. I mean, everybody loves their mum, I know, but I'm just like, I really, really, really love that woman. But she grafted. But like, where we were from in Stoke Newington was ridiculous, because I went to a primary school called Graysbrook. And in that Graysbrook, the school, you had people that would go on to be felons, criminals, killers, G's, do you understand? Flyboys and go-getters and money-getters like myself. And then you had people that were from rich families, like Martin Shaw's daughter went there. And then like other people went there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I went to primary school with Paloma Faith as well. She went to primary school with me. Her mum, Miss Ash, that's like one of the favorite, you know, like you meet a few people in life that impact you. I think she brought the exuberance out of me, because I was a bit timid when I was young. I had a lot of, do you understand? I had a lot of persona and personality in me, but at certain times I'd be shy to bring it out, and she kind of got it out. I think she got me to do a play, and she got me to do like a talent contest, and I won when I used to sing. And yeah, so and then yeah, man, it was dope, man. Graysbrook was mad. So then we go in to primary school and mingle with different kind of people from different kind of backgrounds. So I always, like, it was very, 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 very ethnically diverse. So I knew about a lot of religions and a lot of backgrounds before a lot of other people did. Like, you know, like remember meeting people when I was like 15, 16, and certain people having no knowledge of certain things. And also it was a school that, it was considered a great school, because I learnt certain things in primary school that I will never forget. And I took a keen interest in, like, certain things, in history being one of them. I'm an avid sort of like fan of history as a subject on a whole. And I pride myself on being happy to be an intellectual. Do you understand? Because certain people think that's not the G way around. And I've been a G around amongst a lot of G's. But intelligence was always the one for us. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. It was ethnically diverse, so I knew about people of a Jewish background, because there was Jewish people there. I knew about the difference between Pakistani people and Indian people, and then division between those two countries. Obviously, being a Muslim myself, I met other Muslims. When I was a Muslim, then I met other Muslims and realized, okay, it's not only this or that. That's Muslims. There was Turkish people there and Kurdish people, and learned about the difference between the Muslim factors, and learned about Mehmet Ali and the Kurdish people, and it was so ethnically diverse. Sudanese people I was introduced to, one of our friends Bruno, and like West Indians, and learned the difference between the West Indian countries early, like the Antiguans, the St. Lucians, was very close to a family called the St. Marths, and yeah, we were very close to them at that time, and the Dominicans, and we learned that there was diversity, so you couldn't just always name brand something as that, because you know back in the day it was like, you ask an African, typical African person, any West Indian person is Jamaican, any no matter, you understand, but we do the difference. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because of being raised in that area, it's ridiculous. Even now, to now. Stoke Newton, like the part of Stoke Newton where I was from, like Lordship Road, like, and it was crazy because it was like Hackney, but it was North London, so it made it kind of different as well because Manor House was up the road, which I eventually moved to, and that borders with Haringey and Islington, so it was mad diverse at a very early age, and it was not easy. The people who had it hard, but then they lived across the road from people who had £1 million townhouses, so it was crazy, but we all got along. I actually loved primary school. We all got along.
Picking up on that, why I thought it was interesting what you said about diversity.
Yeah.
And being an intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that age you gained the knowledge, but today I don't think people, and although we're going from back to front, so to speak.
Yeah.
But today people don't actually know how much of a thinker you are. And to be honest, you somewhat keep it that way. So, because if you drop knowledge, you'll be like...
And I do sometimes, but I never want to ever feel like I'm preaching to somebody. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try not to, you can come off a bit preachy. And I mean, I like party and bullshit and bitches like the next guy, you know what I mean? So I never ever would have gone like I'm holier than thou either. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's like, there is a level of intellect and a thirst for knowledge which I do have and I've always had.
Which came from being young.
From my background, especially from my father. Because by the time I was born here, like my relationship with my dad is crazy. Unless you're super close to me, you ain't seen him. Because my mum's and my dad's relationship after my brother was born got a bit crazy. And like he's a Nigerian man and he goes on Nigerian men holidays. A Nigerian man holiday means you go back to Nigeria, he's never lived here. So you go to Nigeria, you may not see your kids for about 5, 6, 7 years, but you know you have kids. And then you turn up somewhere looking 7 years older. But I love the guy, because the guy is probably one of the most intellectual guys I've ever met in my life. And he's forever dropping gems on me that I don't seem to get from the greatest of philosophers. That's why even Socrates or Plato, Aristotle, these guys of these magnitude couldn't drop the kind of gems he drops on me. I think he was talking about giving and receiving and taking, and he must have dropped one on me. He goes, you got to understand, son, like you can't afford to not give in this world. And he goes, why? Because the same hand you take with is the same hand you give with. I sat down, I scratched my head, I goes, what are you talking about? He goes, if you keep that hand shut, you won't give, no, but you're never going to be able to receive. I said, yo, you this guy, you're a madman for that. Your guy mad, you know that way there. He's a very spiritual guy. And we always trying to bully me back into Islam and just, not bully me, but try and say wherever, but I have to give him my insight on why I'm not religious now. Although I'm a God-fearing man and I believe in the balance of things, you understand, of good and evil and energy, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, to a certain extent, I think if you listen to my music, you can tell by the way, by my punctuation, although it doesn't, I don't display it correctly on Twitter, because grammatically I write some bullshit. You know what I mean? I think if you listen to my music, you can get a sense that there's something in the back of that stupid big head of mine. You know what I mean? But like if you don't, and you're a picker, and you listen to what you might not know, and you know what I mean, I do dumb it down a bit. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if I do meet someone who I believe that has similar sort of like beliefs that I do, or not even beliefs, but interests to I do, or do you understand, or just getting off that kind of energy, then we can have a conversation for hours. Like even when me and you were reasoning, like was in the last interview and reasoning about different issues and situations, we're there for 3 hours before we started the interview. So, you know what I mean? I like to learn a little bit from everyone and go on. And yeah, it was my upbringing and my father and my mother. Do you understand? But definitely my father.
Did it affect you? Because a lot of young men have the narrative of their dad wasn't there. But when you grew up, I mean, you had older cousins, but was there any points in your life where you felt like, right, like I'm actually missing a father?
It's nuts though, because my dad wasn't there and he was there. My dad was there firmly for the first 10 years of my life. Maybe not, he wasn't even firmly then, to be honest, but I mean firmly in the sense of you would see him once a year for at least a month. But then you're a kid, you're running about, you know your pops is, he's about, when he's around, your mum's happy, rare. But then after that, it kind of goes AWOL, and that's because they used to beef a lot and argue a lot and rare. They really recently had a reconciliation, which was about 2-3 years ago, which is amazing as well. And my mum just came back from Nigeria, so like we just helped her, you know, we just finished building a house for her. That wasn't a stunt, that was just like, we'll come back onto that. But anyway,
that's how I was gonna go.
They recently reconciled, so it's mad because there's still so much I don't know about him, and I'm learning different stuff about him every single day. Like the other day, he was giving me the story about, I knew my dad was born and raised in Ghana, although he's a Nigerian man. Like he was in Ghana until he was about 30. I knew that, but I didn't know, he was telling me the other day that he was there because his granddad sold my granddad, his dad sold diamonds, and he was my dad. Like obviously, everyone says in their town they're royalty, but we actually are. Like we actually are in our town in Nigeria. We actually are. Something that my dad actually doesn't want to go take now because they'll make him go and sit in the village. He's a bit of a city slicker now. But yeah, he sold diamonds, and they were all of his brothers and that were born and raised in Ghana. So like 30, all having to relearn Yoruba and stuff again, although they spoke it in the house. So I still learned bare things about him that I didn't know before. But I think he's still learning things about me because all he remembers is little Idris, you know what I mean? The happy runabout doing nonsense, like the era when there's no father from 10 to 20 and you're on the roads with 30 man and you're sleeping in your brethren's hostel and you're like, fuck going home. And you're getting gal and you're out here, pure wickedness, doing a lot of wickedness. You understand what I'm saying? That's another thing I really tend to glorify, you know what I mean? But like, we were out here, do you understand? If you're from where I'm from, you will know. And if you ask, you will know.
You finish primary school.
Yeah.
Into
secondary school. Which was weird.
What changes? What something changed. What was the light bulb moment thinking you spoke?
You know why it's Nang that you brought on? I said Nang. Look, I said Nang. That you brought up this subject, yeah, because obviously we just come on from the tough guy things. But if you're from Hackney, like the 90s, my sisters and my older brothers were wrong-uns. They were really out here doing nothing but dirt, like constant fights and constant thieving and stealing and robberies and constant bullshit, yeah? And it was too much, bro. Like my brother went to Cardinal Pole School in Hackney, and first year he would come back home with half the newsagents in his bag and come back and have gold chains in his bag, and it just got too much, and my mum and them lot sent them to Nigeria. But here's where the plot thickens. At the age of 11 or 12, I'm from Hackney. All I know is Stoke Newington in Hackney. At the age of 12, I move from, at the age of 12, we go on a trip, a holiday to Nigeria. Unfortunately, my two older sisters and my older brother did not come back from that holiday for 2-3 years. And then like, even when I got back, my mum was saying, I was crying, like, when are they coming back? She goes, shut up, because I was going to leave you there as well. And I had to just keep my mouth quiet. And it was only me and my brother. And my brother had sickle cell. So my mum was still, I rate my mum because she was still actually trying to learn about the condition, because it's an easy thing to do. Like in Nigeria, he's a sickler, and then you don't even have to take care of your child. So my brother had another family that he would take that knew about the condition, that would take care of him at certain times. And so obviously, also when my mum was working, it was a popular thing in the 80s that a lot of African parents used to do. So then he came back, and it was just me and him. Do you understand? He was in Cambridgeshire, and it was just me and him, and we moved to Woodbury Down. Now, although this was like 2 minutes away from where I used to live, or 5 minutes on foot, which would be 20 minutes for me, but yeah, it was different, because you're coming around people that have all grown up together. But my cousin lived on top of me then, Olu. So then and because I had no older brother around then, it just turned the stubbornness into savageness. And then that was it. And I just turned into a savage. And I just started doing nonsense and doing bits. Then I went to school in Wood Green, which was Tottenham. Pretty much, it's not Tottenham, but Wood Green is Wood Green, Tottenham's Tottenham. But pretty much it was filled with people from Tottenham. I'm not, which is the border. And I'm not from Tottenham. I'm from Hackney. This is also people that have been brought up together. And then obviously there's obviously situations that have obviously happened or whatever. So I'm going from Hackney to Tottenham to go to school, or Wood Green to go to school every day. And my school was savage. Like, I went to St. Thomas More. My school was a bit, it was not even a bit, it was hazardous. And there was schools around it which were crazy as well, like D&K and White Hart Lane. And this is, I didn't understand my mum, because I felt like she just threw me into it. Like, here you go, hi, there. And then that got crazy. And then I went to college and I was driving to like sixth form and that, driving. And I think I went into, I finished first, second year college, whatever. And I think I went to college one day, one teacher was just chatting shit to me. Absolute shit. His name was Mr Smith, sixth form, because I got kicked out of college within 4 or 5 months. But that 4 or 5 months was probably the best time of my life. I loved sitting in Islington, Camden Road, the best college ever. Anyone who went there would tell you that. No matter what generation it was. Best college ever. You had people from south, east, north, everyone was there. But I got kicked out in 5 months because I was just reckless. Reckless. Like reckless. Just like blotting up the whole place. Always something on me, it was mad, or taking stuff, and it was outside. I went back to sixth form. Then I was driving a 15-bag whip to sixth form, and my teacher was chatting shit to me. And I was parked next to his car, and I looked at his car, and I looked at my car, and took in how much money I was making. So I sat down, and if I'm lying, God strike me down. This is no fabrication or no rare, because I know people might have seen the Biggie movie and said, he done the pluses and rare. No, this is true and factual thing. No word of a lie. This happened in 2000. And I must have asked him a question, how much do you something make and rare make? He told me, gave me the breakdown. I'm sitting there. Okay. Then I came in late after lunch. He shouted at me, shouted in my face. I said, I'll beat you up, sir. He goes, yeah, you beat me up and you failed this course. And by the way, he said I shouldn't get above my station, that I can never take him because he was a rugby player. He thought it was tough. And I just analysed it. And he had one Subaru, and Subarus can move, but some dusty Subaru for probably about 3.5 bags. This was my mentality then. I'm not that ignorant now, because you know what I mean? God bless the working man. But he had some dusty, and I was thinking, looking at my brand new tin, I'm thinking, I just got in that car and I drove out and I never went back to any institute of education ever. By that time, my brother was back in the country as well. My older brother, he didn't take, and my sisters were back as well, but he didn't take long to get back into the swinging things. And these were probably from like 14 to 20 was like, no, 14, I'd say 14 to 20 were probably the most crazy days of, not crazy, but ratchet days of my life, in the sense of it was just wild as shit happened. And then, yeah, man, it was exciting, man. It was every day, it was just about chicks and making money, man. And that was my life, and there was no father figure there. We had, and when I say older cousins, there wasn't that many. There was 2. Well, there was more than 2, but 2 that you could look up to that were doing goonish shit for ages. So, but there was not, I didn't know my dad from 10 to 20.
But what you were doing, to put in perspective, that you were taking care of the household.
Of course.
Which is, because I think youngers may think, oh, like, you know, that's what man's doing, but it was a means to also help support you.
I'm 31 years old, and I have no shame in saying that. I'm 31 years old. Me and my younger brother bought my mum her flat in Woodbury Down when I was 19, and he was 17, and we went halves. I think the flat was valued at 130 grand or something, and then she got discount because she put it in right to buy, and she had lived in Hackney for a certain amount of time.
So you get a percentage off?
Yeah, so we got a percentage off, and we bought our first house when we was 19. So yeah, it was for the house.
I think we just got to let that pause for a minute.
Yeah.
For just, and the reason why that's important is today a lot of people are struggling to even get a property like that. But to make sure that you made sure that your mum was right at a young age, that was that equivalent to that being a man-child?
We were man-child because it was, but that was base. And my mum was more of a mother to more people than only her kids. There was like 30 or 40 people that probably didn't really connect with their mum, but connected with my mum more. And then like, we know what she went through. And we saw it as a firm. We see what it is. We didn't even understand what kind of investment we were making. You can ask Zar tomorrow. He'll tell you he didn't know what he was doing, but he knew it was something. Probably we done it to boast. Who knows? But we did it. And don't get it twisted. Like, as the plot thickens, you know, we've got a couple more parts of these coming up. It's not all been clean sailing and rare. There's times that's coming up where I tell you I was homeless and sleeping on carpets and doing nonsense.